The air hung heavy, thick with the scent of jasmine and sin. A haze of cigarette smoke danced with the faint melody of a blues piano. The Pink Slipper, a haven for gentlemen seeking fleeting pleasure. But beneath the surface of velvet curtains and glittering chandeliers, a different world breathed.
The women here were not free, but they were not entirely prisoners either. They belonged to me. This brothel is my domain. I rule with an iron fist, but my heart, it is said, still holds flickers of warmth.
Whispers followed her as she moved through the throng, a queen surveying her court. Her eyes, sharp as cut diamonds, missed nothing. Each stolen kiss, each exchange of money, all passed under her watchful gaze. The women, adorned in silks and feathers, moved with practiced grace. Some hid their fear beneath layers of paint and laughter. Others, hardened by the city, met the gaze of the men with a defiance of their own. But tonight, the air crackled with an unfamiliar tension.
Amidst the opulence, her innocence a stark contrast against the jaded backdrop.
Madame Rose was a woman forged in the fires of adversity. Life had stripped her of illusions, leaving behind a core of steel. She had learned that survival in this city, this concrete jungle, demanded a certain ruthlessness, and Rose had learned her lesson well. But beneath the hardened exterior, a flicker of compassion remained, carefully guarded, a secret ember in the night.
I see my girls as more than just commodities. They are my flock, and I, the shepherdess, shielding them from the wolves at the door. I teach them the art of seduction, yes, but also the art of self-preservation. My rules are absolute, my word law. Break them, and you face my wrath, a force as cold and unforgiving as the Chicago wind.
Tonight, she watched Lily from afar. The girl was different. A naivete clung to her, a fragility that both worried and intrigued Rose. This world could crush the innocent, grind them to dust beneath its heel. But Rose saw a spark in Lily's eyes, a flicker of defiance that reminded her of her own lost youth.
I won't let this city break her, not if I can help it.
Lily was a lamb among wolves. Fresh from the countryside, she had come to Chicago with dreams as bright as her eyes. But the city was a cruel mistress, and it had a way of extinguishing dreams, leaving behind only ashes and regret. She clung to Vera, a veteran of the Pink Slipper, her hardened exterior a shield against the harsh realities of their world.
I've learned to navigate this treacherous path with a mix of cynicism and weary acceptance. I see the darkness in every corner, the danger lurking beneath the surface of every smile. But beneath my tough exterior, a core of loyalty pulses, especially towards Rose, the woman who pulled me from the gutters and gave me a purpose.
Then there was Sal DeMarco, a name whispered in fear and awe. He was a serpent in a pinstripe suit, a predator who ruled his empire with an iron fist and a chilling smile. His men were shadows, their loyalty bought and paid for in blood and fear. He controlled the city's underbelly, and his desires were law.
I move through the Pink Slipper with a world weariness that speaks of too many years spent chasing shadows. I've seen the worst of humanity, the depths of depravity that lurk beneath the city's glittering facade. I come to the Pink Slipper not for pleasure, but because these women, these outcasts, hold pieces of the puzzle I'm desperately trying to solve. Girls are disappearing, vanishing without a trace. And I know, in my gut, that the answers lie hidden within these velvet-lined walls.
You all right, Lily girl?
Rose asked, her voice a low murmur in the girl's ear. The scent of Lily of the Valley, Rose's signature perfume, filled Lily's senses, a strange comfort in this den of sin. Lily, still trembling from her first encounter with a client, a portly man with wandering hands and a cruel laugh, could only nod.
He frightened you?
Rose stated, her eyes scanning the room, a silent promise in their depths.
He reminded me of my uncle.
Lily whispered, her voice choked with unshed tears. The memory, a dark stain on her soul, threatened to overwhelm her. Rose placed a hand on Lily's arm, her touch surprisingly gentle.
No man will hurt you here, not while I'm around.
And in that moment, surrounded by the clinking glasses and forced laughter, Lily believed her. Rose saw a vulnerability in Lily that she recognized all too well. It reminded her of a time before she had built her walls, brick by painful brick. She vowed silently to protect this girl, to shield her from the worst of it, even if it meant facing down the devil himself. Sal DeMarco arrived just after midnight. His entrance was like a sudden gust of wind, silencing the music and stealing the very air. He moved with a panther's grace, his eyes cold and calculating as he surveyed the room. Two men, his shadows, flanked him, their faces etched with a brutality that sent shivers down Lily's spine.
Rosie, I'm looking for something new.
He leaned in, his lips brushing against Rose's ear.
This isn't a petting zoo, Sal. My girls are here to entertain, not to satisfy your every whim.
Sal chuckled, a low, menacing sound.
You wound me, Rosie. But we both know how this works. You name the price.
Some things are not for sale.
The tension in the room was palpable. Lily, watching from behind the bar, felt a knot of fear tighten in her stomach. She had heard whispers about Sal DeMarco, about his ruthlessness, his absolute power. This was a man who could crush them all without a second thought, but Rose, she stood her ground, a queen facing down a tyrant.